Hey, welcome back to Phoenix Kitchen. Today we're getting ready for delicious fall cooking. We made apple pie barbecue pork with roasted butternut squash and crispy spicy coleslaw. Let me show you how we did it. All right, we're going to get started by mixing up our spices. You may already have some apple pie spice in your spice cabinet. I don't, so I'm going to make some. That's the easiest way to do it. And the way we're going to handle that is going to be with cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice, and it's optional, but I like it, cardamom. Recipe will be down below for the proper amounts. We'll get those mixed up and set aside. We'll also be using our Phoenix Kitchen BBQ Rub. That recipe will also be down below. All right, now that I have that ready, we're going to make a little bit of injection. I am using apple pie shine, available at our local liquor store. It is absolutely delicious if you've never had it, and you don't have to worry about it because obviously the alcohol is going to cook away. I'm going to take about a quarter cup of the shine, and I'm going to add to that a couple of tablespoons of salt and a couple of tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Stir that together to dissolve the salt. This is going to become our injection for the pork. We're going to get that all throughout that pork and let it really get happy. We want that salt and apple flavor to penetrate all the way through. All right, I've got my syringe all ready to go. I used a little Pam on the rubber grommet inside to make sure that we can slide the injector easily. This particular syringe came from a Cajun injection kit that I bought at my local supermarket, used on something else. These things are dishwasher safe. You can put them into the dishwasher, wash them out, reuse them. They won't last forever, but they'll get you at least a good 4 or 5 uses, and it's always handy to have one on hand. We want to go around and inject this around every 2 to 3 inches. And as you push the needle in, then you start to depress the plunger and pull out on it slowly so that you're getting, instead of big pockets of the moisture, you want to spread it as far throughout the meat as possible. I already did a pat dry on the meat before I started the injection. So at this point, I'm going to use the remainder of my injection liquid as a binder to help all of the seasonings adhere. I'm just going to go ahead and pour that around and rub it in. It's going to add a nice flavor to all of the meat as we go. We're going to hit this with salt first. You'll notice in the description down below, the recipe for the barbecue rub does not include salt. I always do mine salt-free so that I can control the amount of salt that I'm using in any given cook. So I'm putting the salt on first, and we're going to let that touch the meat, let it soak in. We'll rub on all of the rest of the rubs, and then we're going to give this thing at least 4 hours to get everything really pulled in and really get seasoned all the way through to the center of the meat. We're only going to do 4 hours instead of overnight because we did inject this. So we're already putting some salt into the center. It won't take as long, but usually on a nice thick piece like this, I would prefer to salt it and let it sit overnight. After we've got our salt on, we are going to come through with a layer of our barbecue rub. Now, the recipe is down below if you want to make our barbecue rub, or you can use your favorite barbecue rub. Just keep in mind that that one's going to have salt in it, so you won't need to go through that salting step separately. We do want a barbecue flavor on here. After all, we're making barbecue. We just happen to be adding some fall flavors into it to get a little theme going and really get that season change into our mind, even though the temperatures haven't given it to us yet. And our last prep step after adding the barbecue rub is we're going to add that apple pie spice. I had a little bit left in that bowl that wouldn't mix up and fill into my container. So we'll go ahead and put that on, and then we're going to sprinkle on. Be liberal with this. You decide how much you like, but remember, we're wanting this flavor to really permeate because this is what we're after. We're creating this apple pie kind of flavor. We're going to get this all over. I'm going to say all said and done, I probably used about 2 tablespoons full of the apple pie spice to get this thing rubbed down. And of course, there'll be a little more of that in the barbecue sauce that we're going to be making. Once we've rubbed it down, we're going to get it back into the fridge and let it set for about 4 hours. And we will get our fire started, put this thing on the smoker, get it ready for a delicious dinner. All right, we're getting our fire going in our offset smoker. You can use what you got, your pellet grill, your Weber, whatever. We are looking to lock this thing in at 250 degrees. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to cook this, obviously, with apple wood, because that's what we're going for, is this beautiful apple flavor. We've got the smoker going. We've got the meat on the smoker. It's looking delicious. You can see that smoke starting to roll across it. We're going to close it down, come back in the house, and we're going to make our barbecue sauce. We're going to take a half cup of the apple shine or apple juice, whichever you're using, a quarter cup of apple butter, and a couple tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. And we're going to add that to 2 cups of our favorite barbecue sauce. Of course, ours is our Texas barbecue sauce. Recipe will be down below, but you can use whatever barbecue sauce you want. We'll heat it up, let it blend, and mix it together, set it to the side. We're going to make our coleslaw and put it in the fridge so it can get happy. Here's our ingredients for our slaw dressing. The dry spices recipe is down below. We're going to get those measured up and ready to go, and then we're going to add our other ingredients and make the dressing. We'll be using apples and pecans coleslaw mix, and then we're going to mix that in with our dressing, which is the mayonnaise, the lemon juice, and the Dijon mustard. Like I said, the full recipe is down below. Once we get all of our ingredients measured out and into our bowl, we mix them together. We slice our apples very thinly. We crush up our pecans. We add in our coleslaw mix. This is a very crispy, spicy coleslaw, and it works best drizzled with a bit of that barbecue sauce. Now that the flavors are melding on the barbecue and the coleslaw, it's time to check on our pork butt. It is looking good, but not quite time to wrap it yet. So we go back in. A couple hours later, we're at 165. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this in foil to help bring the temp up. One of the things about this particular roast, because I am not serving pulled pork sandwiches, we're having this as a dinner. I am not going to go all the way to 200 degrees. I want to keep this thing down around 195, and I'm going to chop it so that we have bites of meat rather than pulled pork. Wrapping in foil means we're going to get to temp very quickly. I'm going to go ahead and start our butternut squash because it will take some time to cook. We're going to cut this thing in half, and we're going to scoop out all of the seeds. Once we've got that done, we're going to peel the outside and cut into 1/2 to 3/4 inch chunks. Now we're going to season these up with beautiful fall flavors. Recipe will be down below, but this is going to include things like salt, pepper, garlic, and sage. We're going to put them into our air fryer at 375 for about 35 to 40 minutes. We will check them for fork tenderness. That's how we'll know that they're done. All right, we have our pork butt ready to go. We pulled half of it apart. Obviously, there's only 2 of us eating tonight, so we're going to have plenty of leftovers. And I'm going to just go ahead and slice this. As I said, we did not make pulled pork. That is intentional. We've pulled this thing at 190 degrees. We're slicing it up like a roast, and then we're going to chop it into little pieces. And we're going to eat this covered with barbecue sauce along with our sides. If you've ever made pulled pork and you haven't got it to that state of pulling and you need to learn how, we do have a tutorial video on how to make pulled pork. I'll make sure that we put a place card up at the end you can click on to watch that video next. But tonight we're doing chopped, so let's get this chopped up and onto our plates. All right, and here we are. Chopped apple pie barbecue pork with roasted butternut squash and crispy spicy coleslaw. Serve it with a crispy roll. Absolutely amazing fall dinner. I really hope you'll give this recipe a try. Don't forget to check out the video for pulled pork too. We're giving away a 5-piece cast iron lodge cookware set when we hit 1,000 subscribers. All you have to do is like a video and subscribe to the channel to be entered in the giveaway.